Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome one, welcome all to SimSpeed TV. It's time for the final round of 2024 Season 2 in iRacing's GR Buttkicker Cup official series. And we end at perhaps the best track to have a series finale at, the Mount Panorama circuit in virtual Bathurst. We're going to have a full field of Toyota GR86 Cup cars buzzing around this place. How many of them make it to the end without any dings and dents on the sides, or let alone in one piece, remains to be seen. Wherever you're coming from, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Kick, welcome to the broadcast. I'm Reese Gardner, Scott Rankin is with me in the comms box, and Jay Kennedy is pushing the buttons behind the scenes. Scott, Mount Panorama needs no introduction. I say that practically every time we come here. If you're watching SimSpeed TV, you know Bathurst. And if you watch motorsports avidly, you know Bathurst. It's one of the greatest racetracks in the world, and we're not just saying that because it's home turf for us.
No, yeah, I mean, whatever that German circuit is that they're off to this weekend to go race GT3s, no one's ever heard of that thing. Whatever that big old oval 2.5 miles of it apparently, draft racing apparently has a 24-hour race. Nah, no one's ever heard of that. This is the only track in the universe that you ever need to know about. It's got 23 corners. All of them are iconic for different reasons. All of them bring up moments in the back of your mind that, well, we've talked about them now, so most likely you're going to go to sleep and dream about.
Indeed. Absolutely looking forward to this. 23 corners of ridiculousness at this place. Separated, of course, by 2 long straights going up and down the mountain. Passing is going to be at a premium across the top of the circuit, basically from the cutting all the way up to Forest Elbow. It's going to be really hard to run side by side, though. Considering the nature of the GR86 Cup car, we should be able to see some side-by-side action up through Reed and Sulman Park, and maybe through McPhillamy Park as well, but from the S's down to the elbow, it's single file or you're gone.
One of the biggest things that generally tends to happen with this track as well is the instant an Australian track, particularly Bathurst, pops up across the week. Well, if you're an international driver, you're going to be losing some I rating, because the thing is, we've got home ground advantage over here. This is our turf. This is what we know about. I just had a look at the entry list, Reese. There's going to be 4 drivers here to donate some I rating to their Australian counterparts. So they're in for a real rough time tonight because, man, beating anyone from Australia around this track, it's just un-Australian.
Yeah, indeed. I competed in the American Muscle Series hosted league earlier in the year. The final round was at Bathurst, and I got a podium, so I'm well aware of the 10 horsepower boost that is given to every Aussie at this circuit. The format for tonight, of course, is the same as always. A 15-minute sprint. The drivers are in the middle of their 8 minutes, 2 laps per driver of qualifying. Remains to be seen whether or not every driver will be able to get 2 laps in this session. Possible changeable weather. The new iRacing weather system is active for this series. But we've only seen rain at 2 of the rounds we've broadcast so far this season, and it's looking pretty dry at Mount Panorama, though we are racing in beautiful sunset conditions, which means the track should be cool and cooling further as time goes on.
Yeah, it's a late night. You know, we're going into that sort of sunset and the sun's going down. So very cool track temperatures certainly to start things off, which means lap times are going to be supremely quick. The benefit as well, you know, 6 kilometers of racetrack means that by the time you actually get onto your first flying lap, particularly with where pit lane is located, the tires in the 86 are actually up to temperature, which is a big plus. It means the car's 10 times more balanced. One of the most difficult bits and pieces of this racetrack, Marlon McMullen went through it a few moments ago, was actually the dipper. Because of the softness of the suspension, the car is actually off the ground at different points throughout the dipper, and you can see Marlon McMullen's qualifying session's over. He's made a mistake, probably tapped the wall. Lap's being cancelled, he's had to go again. But there's only a minute left in terms of qualifying. I cannot tell you how difficult because other cars, you just approach it, the car's all connected. 86, no, it's actually got to make sure that you point that wheel straight when you come through the dipper or you're in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. We've broadcast plenty of racing in the Toyota 86, and one thing that rings true every time is how unstable the rear end can be, especially when you're dealing with elevation changes. The car will either snap on you or lift its inside wheels off the ground and send you flying. Mitch McLeod, one of the faster drivers in these splits that we've been broadcasting, is going to get a qualifying lap on the board right at the end of the session. Marlon McMullen on provisional pole. How does McLeod do? Well, unfortunately, it looks like that lap hasn't counted. He's gotten a contact 0x somewhere over the lap. There's only 14 of our 18 drivers in the session that have set times so far, and with that, the session is over. James Murata making his way to the line right at the end to improve his time. Here's the grid then for the final SimSpeed broadcast race of the GR86 Cup for 2024 Season 1. Marlon McMullen and Oliver Robson, 2024 Season 2. My apologies, correct that. McMullen and Robson on the front row, with Cooper Cooley and Quinn Wilson starting on row 2. We'll go to Blake Fitzpatrick in 5th place, starting alongside Mathieu Detry, who was from the Benelux club. Then we move on through to Ashton Katic and Stephen Kokoschki, 2 more Australian-New Zealand drivers. Daniel Escames is from France. He's going to be starting alongside Aidan Gregory to round out the top 10.
And from there on back, we're going to go to 11th with James Mirador and Michael Cullen off alongside of him. Next row back is going to be that of Paul Blomqvist and Brett Selby-Wood, which will be 13th and 14th of the grid. And then here comes the drivers who failed to set a time. Elaine Siegrist was a 2:35, was a fair way off the pace, but Mitchell McLeod will be looking to try and get aggressive early. Out of 16th on the grid. 17th will be Matthew Brunt, who also failed to set a time. We'll be interested to keep an eye on him from the back of the grid, off alongside of Chek Lai Ho.
Indeed, and Chek Lai Ho is from the California club. So as you said, Scott, we have 4 international drivers in this race. Detry Escames from Benelux and France, Siegrist from the Germany, Austria, Switzerland club, and Chek Lai Ho Racing from the United States. So the field is on the dummy grid for the run to the start-finish line to complete the initial few corners of this short formation lap. The timer has hit 0, and the drivers will get a feel for the chase through this section here. It's the only time we'll be going through here at anything but top speed. It's a very difficult corner in any car, especially so in the GR86.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult old first lap. You know, just getting yourself settled in. You can't afford to lose the tire up front while the race is basically over. Marlon McMullen will be taking a look around and he'll go, Oliver Robson is, you know, three quarters of a tenth back on him. That's about the margin, and go, that's really not all that much. But from there's a little bit of a margin back through the field. Mitch McLeod, worst qualifying performance of the season, failing to set that valid lap time, so he's in for a world of hurt, and he's got to cut his way through quickly. Expect him to probably get aggressive. I know he'll be working with Brett Selby-Wood early.
Let's see then, as they make their way through Murray's Corner, who gets the best run into Hell Corner to start the race. We're bringing the Bathurst here on SimSpeed TV. Marlon McMullen leads across the line as the green flag flies, and we are racing in the GR Buttkicker Cup. McMullen with a comfortable lead into turn 1 over Robson. Cooper is going to keep Quinn Wilson behind him for third spot. Matthew Detry already making up one position on Blake Fitzpatrick. That's the only change for position we've seen so far. But now it seems like Quinn Wilson is going to be lining up a move on Cooper Cooley for that third spot coming into Griffin's Bend. Wilson just moves ahead, but when you get to this corner, you have to be on the inside, otherwise you'll get no grip at all. The momentum, though, stays with Quinn Wilson, and he's able to maintain the outside line. We don't often see that. Great run up the hill, and he'll get by for third into the cutting.
Yeah, keep an eye back in the pack as well, because Ashton Katach and Stephen Kachoski also battled it quite heavily down in, and I can tell you that Ashton Katach just hit the wall quite heavily on the exit of the cutting on the right-hand side as they made their way out, so he might have damage.
Yeah, very may well do, but we keep ourselves up in terms of momentum across the top of the mountain.
There's a move across the top of the mountain. There's a move. Brett said we would just force Michael Cullen out of the line, and Paul Blomqvist followed him through, and then Matthew Brunt cut his way through. He's still out of line, Michael Cullen. Alan Segrist will dive through. He just lost 4 spots across the top of the mountain.
Yeah, wow, that just goes to show how difficult it is to maintain the outside line across the top here. So bad news for Michael Cullen, but good news for the drivers that made their way past there. For 11th and 12th, James Murata has made his way into the wall, unfortunately losing the rear end on the way into Forest Elba. I think there was contact from Mitch McLeod behind him, so already some chaos happening on the first lap here. But interesting to note that across the top, we didn't see any big crashes. It's very rare to see.
Yeah, and remember what I said, they got through the dipper. That was the key factor in all of that, because if they didn't get through the dipper, it would have been very, very difficult, but they managed to get through the dipper. So now they'll sort themselves out, and it was contact from James Murador and Mitch McLeod. I went back, had a look, with very, very light contact, but when he was hard against the right-hand side of the road, it was just enough.
Yeah, it's only light contact that can make all the difference in these cars. Well, it's been a successful first lap for Mitch McLeod. Otherwise, Stephen Kokoschka has defended his position. He's one up from where he started. Quinn Wilson is trying to chase down Oliver Robson and Marlon McMullen here for the lead of the race. This is the replay on board with Mitch McLeod up behind the number 7, gets on the brakes, and McLeod just taps him as they come down the hill. Mitch obviously wasn't intending for that to happen, but I still think that Murata will not be too happy with him for that. Kokoschka, meanwhile, he's rounding up a move on Blake Fitzpatrick for P6, bump drafting on the way down to Griffin's Bend, but he's not going for the move just yet. Looks like he's going to be taking this one easy and picking his moves where necessary.
Yeah, I think this is probably the right call, because they're starting to lose Dietrich and Cooley just up the road from them a little bit. They're just outside of the draft range, so he's going to need a very, very quick top of the mountain section to maintain their way in. But if Kokoschka can work with him, this is probably one of the few tracks where working together this well can actually really play into your good graces. You know, you got to pick someone sometimes and just go, look, I think I am faster, but if we fight, we're definitely slower. And, well, he's basically saying, I want to be on the podium. I don't want to be squabbling for 4th. Sorry, for 5th.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a couple of cars to make up before they can be fighting for that. On board with Fitzpatrick and the Pacific Esports racing car, the Synergy machine of Stephen Kokoschka on the brakes just a little earlier, coming out through the S's. A lot of time being made there by Ashton Katich, but he's lost it all out of the dipper, and Daniel Escames is going to briefly come together with him. Ashton is in the wall.
Yeah, and that'll be race over for him. He actually got ejected out and over the wall, so race done basically in terms of how that one. But oh man, we're gonna have to see a replay of that, because that was intense. Contact exiting the dipper. How?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is where it all went wrong for Katich. He's lifted the inside wheels there and lost all momentum. And then the other cars come in. There's no room to get through.
Yeah, that's absolutely not a hole. So for Escames, I mean, that's the benefit of being an Aussie, right? You know that's not a hole. That's not a hole that closes. It's basically a hole that, what was it, Formula 1 from the weekend at Monaco. It nearly exactly the same kind of move. That hole, the road comes back across. That's not a hole that you can put a car in. Should have known better.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Well, the Fortnite machine is making up ground there as Selby Wood decides to split the difference. Problem for Matthew Brunt. I mean, he is up 6 spots, but there's a car spinning in the background there as into the first turn they come, and Selby Wood gets into the wall. That was a huge crash. Selby Wood's out. Looks like Michael Cullen's had problems as well. Oh my God, it's all gone off here.
And Brett Selby Wood's bad run of form whenever he's on a SimSpeed broadcast continues. My word. So that's the incident back off the final corner, and then it all kicked off down at turn 1 as well.
Yeah, it looks like Escames was the car on the outside of Selby Wood here. They made contact on the exit, and goodness me, Escames just absolutely getting sent to light speed there. And Selby Wood's rear drivetrain is completely destroyed. Nothing more can be done for that Subaru World Rally Tribute liveried car. Well, it's going to promote a few positions for quite a few cars. McLeod's now up 8 spots. Blomqvist is up 4. Matthew Brunt up 7. Chuk Lai Ho has had a very quiet race. He's gained 5 positions. Starting from the back, we are up to 4 retirements as things stand. The top 3 are together, though. And it seems like Oliver Robson has got much more to focus on than the rear bumper of McMullen.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting little race from here because now there's a couple guys that have cut their way through from the back end of the field. The benefit of Mullen and the guys up in front is that whilst, you know, they have got a little bit of free air, at the same time, they're also just punching really, really good lap times. Another difficulty, it looks like Brake Fritz had some issues back up at the top of the mountain, particularly, I would say, coming off of the cutting more than likely, and that's allowed Mitchell McLeod to really close in. So there's going to be some more position changes in behind as well.
Yeah, indeed. Kokoschka made his way past Fitzpatrick in the process, it seems, and McLeod's going to make the move on Fitzpatrick himself. There's not much going on here up the front. The top 3 aren't going for any big dives right now, but you see McLeod going for it there. He's made his way past Kokoschka and Fitzpatrick there and up to 6th spot. He is on a massive charge right now, and there's a move for 2nd. Quinn Wilson up the inside of Oliver Robson, spins it on the inside, and he's in the wall on the exit of Murray's. Careful on the re-entry. Here comes McLeod to gain yet another position. Kokoschka and Fitzpatrick following through.
And they're not happy about it either. The drivers are arguing in server about, you know, corner rights, whether or not he was far enough up. So, you know, it's going to be a difficult one, and the replay's going to tell the story because this will be really interesting.
Yeah, so he makes the move on Oliver Robson, gets up the inside, and I mean, it was a closing door. I don't know if he was far up enough to say it was his corner, but regardless, that's how it works. And you make contact, you get into the wall. There's only really one place to go at Bathurst, so that's going to leave McMullen and Robson to fight over the lead by themselves. But this train here, 5th, 6th, and 7th, they're going to be fighting their way up for sure. Kokoschka has shown a willingness to work together with drivers around him to make up time. Let's see if he can help McLeod any.
Well, the other thing is all of that hullabaloo off the final corner as well has cost them a significant amount of momentum because they had to lift. It was Dietrich and Cooley, so they lost a lot of momentum. What that's allowed is in the first 2 sectors, Mitch McLeod's actually taken about a second out of Cooper Cooley ahead of him. Margin was 4 seconds as they come down to the end of the last lap. Well, it's down under that significantly. It's 2.5.
Yeah, big time being made up for the 5th place battle. Yeah, look at that, 0.8 of a second gained in the first sector here. Cooper Cooley still lapping now behind Matthew Detry. It looks like the move was made for the number 4 on the previous lap. So Matthew's having a pretty good race at the moment. He stayed out of trouble, kept his nose clean, and may very well be the best finishing international driver this race. But we can't speak too early. The mountain will pick and choose who gets it done here. There are 5.5 minutes left in the race. I know it says warm up in the top left corner, but trust me, we are racing right now. McLeod's still making up time on these 2. As there may be a change of position into the chase, no, it looks to me like Cooley's going to hang back and focus on bump drafting.
Yeah, well, he did make some time on that straight as well on Mitch McLeod, but I tell you what, Mitch McLeod just went purple through the middle of the lap. From the top of the S's all the way down to Forest Elbow, he went purple, so he's absolutely finding a mammoth amount of time, and Kokoschki's having a lot of problems trying to stick with him, and the difficulty for Cooper Cooley is you keep taking that much curb, it's going to go pear-shaped.
Yeah, exactly. You can't afford to take too much curb in the 86. It does not like the platform to be unsettled. Fitzpatrick still behind Kokoschki, but you see how much ground McLeod has made. Kokoschki and Fitzpatrick have not been able to keep up, and that's a mistake there for Kokoschki on the exit of the first turn. Paul Blomqvist also having issues at the exit of the first turn there. He's slowed right down. I don't know if he's going to be completing any more of this race. Is he staying in it? It looks like he is. But we'll keep our eyes peeled on this battle here. Will Kokoschki be able to make his way back past Fitzpatrick into 6th spot?
That's a really interesting one from Blomqvist. I went and had a look at it. I couldn't find anything in particular. There's no slowdown or anything like that, to be clear. There's no penalty that's been assigned, but he's lost 10 seconds effectively. So at least he was trying to do the right thing and readdress behind Siegrist, but I didn't see that they'd had any contact earlier on the piece. But now look at the battle up front.
Yeah, have a look at this. Oh, Fitzpatrick still stays ahead of Kokoschki. He ran a little bit wide coming out of the cutting, but Stephen was not able to get the momentum up for a move past. Momentum is so important in these cars, especially across the top here. Kokoschki definitely looks like the faster driver through the corners, but he's not able to make a move in this section of the track. I mean, we know as well as anyone, if you try to pull a move in this section, you are going to end your race in the wall.
Have a look at the cars bottoming out as they come through the dipper as well. And by the way, Mitch McLeod, another purple sector just chalked off. So he is really rapid at this point in the race. Guess what? Big benefit. Now he's got a double draft as well. He's just within a second of Matthew Dietrich. And this is going to be a big old battle for third on the road. And I reckon they're going to run out of time. So they might get one more lap if they're extremely lucky. But I think this might be the last lap of the season we're coming to here, Reese.
Yeah, potentially. It's a 2.5-minute lap around here in the GR86s. We have 2 minutes and 42 on the clock at the moment, so it's ever more likely that the white flag is going to fly. There's the move for Matthew Dietrich, defending from Cooper Cooley. He knows that McLeod is coming, and he needs to make those moves now. McLeod's going to try and find a way through. The white flag will fly, I think, for our race leaders, McMullen and Robson. And the time is now for Robson to make his move for the lead. Can McLeod get onto the podium here? He's already made his way past Cooley for 4th. Now he's got to dispatch Dietrich.
Yeah, and that was all down to Cooper Cooley wanting to be aggressive at the final corner. Got to run. Dietrich had to go deep under brakes to try and get it stopped. But now Mitch McLeod is also going to pull alongside. He got a great run off turn 1. What's Oliver Robson going to do? There's no way that these guys can now be caught. So this is your battle for the lead. It's 1 and 2 on the road. Will it be the other side? And have a look at Mitch McLeod having a go as well.
Yeah, McLeod on the outside of Dietrich here coming into turn 2. Oh, he tries to hold on to it. They make contact. Dietrich's going to be ahead on the exit of the corner, and Cooper Cooley might just come back here for a run into 4th. We'll have to wait and see on that. Robson still keeping the pressure up on Marlon McMullen, but he knows he can't make a move here. If he gets in front by Forest Elbow, McMullen will just draft back past him. He's going to save it till Conrad and the chase to make his move for the win.
Yeah, McLeod's now all over the rear bumper of Dietrich as well. So there's 2 battles on the road that are really going for it. And can Mitch McLeod deny the international driver a podium? That'll be the big key. And for all the Aussies, well, of course they're supporting Mitch McLeod at this point. You never want to see an international come and steal your thunder at home.
No, certainly not. Through the S's then for our leaders, coming off Skyline for the battle for 3rd place. Dietrich very aggressive over the curbs there, but he's kept up great momentum. He's doing incredibly well. Big congratulations to Dietrich for what he's done so far in the race. He just needs to hold on for the straight and a few more corners. Speaking of the straight, that's where McMullen and Robson are now. Dietrich breaks the draft on McLeod for 3rd place. And it looks to me like Robson might be a bit too far back.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's just given this one up. So it'll be Marlon McMullen who'll probably take victory at the final race of the season. Dietrich's in trouble, though. The overspeed's coming. and he's going to be on the right-hand side of the road, which means Dietrich will have the inside when they get down to the chase, but he's going to clear him well in advance of that, and here comes Cooley as well. It's going to be 2 for 1 on the last lap of the race. Oh, Dietrich with a 7.5. He doesn't stop that car. No way he stops that car. He stopped that car.
Oh, a bit of contact with McLeod on the exit as well. Marlon McMullen's going to cross the line to win the race. Dietrich and McLeod still banging wheels on the way into Murray's corner. Will Dietrich give McLeod the room? He will. And McLeod will sail through to take third at the final corner.
Whoa, my word, what a final lap between those three. Enough panel rubbing that it was aggressive, but not so much that it was dirty. That's touring car racing. That's touring car racing at its finest.
Beautiful stuff. Great race to round off the season. But breaking news, McMullen has lost the win. Something's gone very wrong for him there, a glitch of some kind, which means that Oliver Robson is classified the winner. What happened here? McMullen, is this pit speed limiter on? What's going on there?
No. So he's car, just watch. And there's a hardware failure right there. And what's happened is basically his entire sim is frozen at that point in time. And then 2 seconds later, he pops back out.
Wow. Oh, how would you be if you were Marlon McMullen? What looked like an easy win ripped away from you in the final few meters of the race. So that means for our broadcasted races of the GR Buttkicker Cup, Oliver Robson is your final race winner of the season. Marlon McMullen, 3 seconds behind. He was about a second in front when the glitch happened. That will be absolutely heartbreaking for the number one. McLeod, though, making it onto the podium with a great battle with Matthew Dietrich and Cooper Cooley for third spot. Blake Fitzpatrick will finish ahead of Matthew Brunt, Aidan Gregory, Quinn Wilson, and Stephen Kokoschke, who it seems had some issues in the last couple of laps.
I'm really impressed, though, for Dietrich on the brakes in that last lap. Elaine Siegrist will finish just outside the top 10. Paul Blomqvist from Chuglai Ho, Michael Cullen, Daniel Esquimez, and Brett Selby-Wood will finish 1 lap down. Kat Tatch and Murador, unfortunately, not making the flag after 6 laps, but my word, the braking performance was so good from Dietrich. And then here's another one that we missed in the final lap. Around she goes with the dipper. That's how you can do it the wrong way.
Yeah, that's Kokoschke, who unfortunately lost 2 spots there on the final lap of the race. That's such a shame. 3 spots, in fact. There goes Quinn Wilson. So that's going to conclude our broadcast of the GR Buttkicker Cup for 2024 Season 2 here on the iRacing service. We want to thank you all for joining us through our broadcast this season, but the fun isn't over here on SimSpeed TV. Later on tonight, we've got the Oceanic Dirt Sim Events Australian Sprint Car Championships going live in the next hour or so. It's going to be a fantastic race for the win there. So stay with us here on SimSpeed TV if you want to catch it. I think it's going to be going live in about 20-25 minutes or thereabouts. I'm Reese Gardner, Scott Rankin with me in the comms box, Jay Kennedy behind the scenes. From all of us here at SimSpeed TV, we say thank you for watching, and we'll see you again very shortly.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.